If you are searching for how to spend your stimulus check, you're in one of two boats. One, you have so many financial obligations, you really don't know where to start with spending that $1,200. It's going to run out and you just don't know what order to go in. Or two, maybe you have some things under control and you're really looking for how to optimize this money so that you can get the most out of it and help yourself the most going forward. Regardless of what boat you're sailing in, we're going to walk down a series of steps that will help you figure out where the best way to spend this money is. So stay tuned. Welcome to Modern Frugality. My name is Jen. I am a personal finance writer by day, and now I make YouTube videos because I wanted to help people navigate this really weird financial situation that everyone's going through. It's unprecedented. I hate that word, but it is. And my fingers are tired, so here we are. I'm making videos. If you are a subscriber, thanks so much for coming by to watch the video. And if you're not, but you're interested in how to save money, spend smarter, and pay off debt, get solid financial footing, then hit the subscribe button at the bottom right-hand corner of this video. And I'll be posting a few videos a week from here on out to help people recover, progress, and grow from this series that we're at right now. So what's the deal with the stimulus check? American adults who filed a 2018 or 2019 tax return are eligible for up to $1,200 each, plus $500 for every dependent under the age of 17. It's also important to note that this stimulus money is tax-free. You will not have to pay income tax on it on your 2020 taxes. It will not be debited from your tax return next year. This is a tax-free credit that you are receiving, so you don't have to worry about putting some aside for taxes or hoarding it because it'll be taken away from you later. So you really can use this money to set yourself up for financial security or optimize what you've already been doing. If you have any other questions about the stimulus check, please leave them down in the comments and I will answer them to the best of my ability. This was a very brief overview. It doesn't even begin to go through all of the things we could go through about it, but those are the most important aspects, I think. Now, the big question. What do you spend this on? Because $1,200 seems like a lot, but it really doesn't go that far. And so how do you spend your stimulus money to make the biggest impact for you and your financial future? So there are 7 steps to walk through, and you will use them together or separately based on where you're at financially, based on how much money you have coming in right now, to protect yourself and move yourself forward when we do eventually get out of whatever this is. So first is for people that don't have any money coming in. You weren't eligible for unemployment. For some reason, you don't have the ability to get a side job or any extra work. The first thing you need to be worrying about is putting food on your table. So getting basic groceries. So not necessarily getting fast food, but getting basic groceries to sustain yourself. And this isn't a time to put off asking for help. We all need a little help right now, no matter who you were, who you are, what you did, what you do. If you need help putting food on your table, that's what the food banks and the food pantries and these local nonprofits are here for, to help people. More people than ever need food help. So don't be afraid to seek out that help and see if that is an option before you spend this money on food. This should be a last resort, especially for people that have dietary restrictions and may not be able to utilize food banks. That would be the time to use this on food. Second, if you're really income deficient, then use this to pay for your shelter. So that's your mortgage or your rent, your utilities. Keeping the lights on and keeping a roof over your head is essential. And a lot of banks and landlords and utility companies, they are waiving late fees, which is great, but most of them are not waiving the bill. So you will have to pay this eventually. So the goal is to stay as current as possible with this money. So if you can put this money towards your rent or mortgage, and then maybe you have a little bit of money coming in that you can cover other stuff, this is not a time to have a discretionary budget or be paying for subscription boxes and stuff like that. This is a time to be bare bones. If you are right here, to be bare bones and just cover the essentials. So definitely your mortgage if you own a home, your rent. And I would encourage people who rent to know that over half of landlords are individual investors. So they're like your Uncle Joe or your Aunt Jeannie, who have just chosen to own homes as their method of working. So if you are not paying your rent, you're actually hurting somebody else in your community or somebody else's community from being able to put food on their table. So it's super important that we just try to stay as current as possible. For utilities and electricity, one way you can save money right now is by signing up for fixed billing. So that would take your fluctuating utility or electricity bill and fix it for 12 months. And so that's going to be really beneficial for people who are in a warmer climate like me. Shout out Florida. It's hot already. And so my electricity bill is about to skyrocket because we need AC at 2 o'clock in the morning because it is hot at 2 a.m. So with fixed billing, that would decrease those payments now. And in the winter, when they're usually a little lower, it would bring them up. So if you are in the same boat as me, then this might be time to sign up for fixed billing. It will help lower your bills for a little bit. It'll help even those out. So you'll be able to stay current more easily. Next is looking at other essential bills. After you eliminate what you don't need, I would look into seeing if there are any programs that you can sign up for to get help with paying those, because there are some out there. I will put a link in the description on different financial resources that you can seek out to help you with things. So look at what you can cut, what you can get help with, and then put in order the importance of everything else, and then funnel the stimulus money to those so that you can keep current. So we got food, we got shelter, essential bills. Those are first, especially if you don't have any money coming in. If you do have some money coming in, maybe you have unemployment, maybe you're on half pay, my husband's taking half pay right now, then you essentially want to be able to be your own stimulus check in the future should things get worse. So the next thing you want to do with your stimulus money is put it in your emergency fund. I know it doesn't sound fun, but you need to have an emergency fund of at least $500, preferably 3 to 6 months of expenses, in case more layoffs come, more shifts in your company come, pay cuts. You don't know what's going to happen. There's going to be ramifications from this that go for the rest of the year and probably beyond. And none of us can anticipate what that is going to bring. So if you don't need the money for your essentials right now, and you are uncomfortable with how much is in your emergency fund, then put this in your emergency fund. Your emergency fund should be in a separate account that is not at the same bank that you usually do your checking at. So online banks are great for this. Put it in an online bank that you don't save the information for in your computer. You don't use the debit card, you leave it at home, and keep it there for if something else goes wrong. And it's An emergency fund is the difference between an emergency being an inconvenience and a crisis. And I think a lot of people are feeling that right now. Some of these things staying at home, inconvenience. It's for what we have in our homes, like we are living in the lap of luxury. It's just an inconvenience. But for some people without an emergency fund, not being able to go to work, not being able to do normal things, that is a crisis. So having that emergency fund gives you peace of mind so that you don't have to live in the stress of crisis as much. And many people might stop right here. This might be the extent of how much you can spend your $1,200. Again, it doesn't go that far, and that's okay. You want to have that money for when you need it, and if now is not the time you need it, then great, that's awesome, because eventually you will. But if you're comfortable with what you have and you do want to use it for more, then the next thing would be to pay off high interest debt. So that would be anything over 6% interest. Definitely credit cards are number one on that list, but personal loans as well. This is not really the time to put extra towards your mortgage. That's more if you have regular income that can regularly support that extra payment. And you could put it towards federal student loans, but they're interest-free right now, and they're, again, waiving late fees, so it's not as much of a priority. Really, I think your money would be better spent on this next step, and that is saving for retirement. I know this might go out of order a little bit for some of you that are following the baby steps, but hear me out. So the sixth step is saving for retirement, but specifically saving your money in a Roth IRA. If you don't know much about a Roth IRA, it's an account where you put money in after tax, so basically money that comes into you on your net pay, and once you put it in, you leave it in there, and once you retire, you can take money out of that without paying any income tax on the withdrawals, which for a 401k, you will pay income tax on your withdrawals. Those are pre-tax. So what makes a Roth IRA really special right now is that normally contributions are made after tax, but the stimulus check is tax-free. So you're essentially putting pre-tax money into a post-tax, I don't know, that sounded better in my head. In putting it into a Roth IRA negates all the taxes. Putting money in now over the next few months will be like you were putting in money 2 years ago. And investing in stocks does help the economy. It does stimulate the economy. So you're using the money for what its purpose is while really benefiting yourself mostly. The last thing, if you are planning to max out your Roth, you've got everything else covered, you've got some money coming in, and you're just looking for, how can I really make some money on this money? The last thing is give it away. I know that's not the answer you wanted for how to really optimize this, but there's never been more of a time to invest in your community. Our neighbors need us. Anybody that has an emergency fund that can cover a $400 to $500 expense in an emergency fund is better off than 60% of the rest of the country. So think about that. If you have even $400 saved for a rainy day that consistently sits there, you are in the top upper echelon of this country. And we have to be taking care of each other in this time. We're staying home to protect those most vulnerable, and I think we need to use our stimulus checks to help bolster them as well. So there are 3 ways that I will be doing this with my stimulus check personally. So the first is I'm going to give a third of it to individuals. So cutting out middlemen, seeing who needs it, and just giving them straight up cash. The second is to give a third of it to local charities. Any local charity that directly supports individuals will make a bigger impact than just giving to national charities or charities that give to causes and stuff like that. So try to give to one that directly impacts individuals in your community. You can see if your utility company has an assistance program where you can make donations to the utility company through that program, and the utility company will help people that need help with their utility payments. I know our city has that, so check to see online if yours does. That can be a great way to directly help people through local government, essentially. And then the third is to give to local businesses, to invest in local businesses. Identify 2 or 3 or 4 local businesses that you really value, that you think are of value to the community, and figure out how to spend your money there to invest in them. Figure out which places you love, and then maybe get a gift card there so that you can give more money up front, but you don't have to give it all up front. Because people need the money sooner rather than later, but you can definitely spread out how you use it by getting a gift card to these places. So let me know in the comments if you have any local organizations that you feel are really worthy of people donating their money to. And if you want more videos like this, then hit that subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Then I will be putting out videos, a couple videos a week for the foreseeable future, covering different topics about how to deal with financial crisis, how to live through it, how to come out of it, and then how to build back from it. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.